The Jack of Spades will change into the Six of Hearts. Not much to say here. You can simply watch it change over and over from one card to another. And obviously very soon I'm going to show you how the mechanics work behind this. I rather like this change because the cards are held in a very open frontal position and there's not that much movement to the actual change itself. A simple stroking of the hand and the cards change from one to another. 4 of spades, 2 of hearts, etc., etc. As you can see, you can repeat this over and over until somebody eventually likes it. Yeah. Let's take a look at the explanation right now. First thing you want to learn is to buckle the cards so that you can use your index finger to push one card out at a time, as you see here. Fairly simple to do. Next, you have to learn how to use a waving of the hand using your thumb up the side of the pack. It comes up the side of the deck. You wave your hand over and back down over the pack to make the change. At the same time, you're pushing out the back card with your first finger. The thumb starts up the side of the deck and the card is pushed out and is actually clipped between the heel of each hand, as you see here. It rides between the heel of your hands. You then simply bring it back down over top of the deck, align it up, and follow through with your finger motion of the wave of the hand. Let's take a look at that again. You separate the card, push it out as your thumb rides up the side of the pack. It gets clipped between the heel of each hand for the change. The card's pushed up. The card is clipped between the heel of each hand. It rides upon the heel of each hand, as you see here, very freely. You then bring it back down over top of the pack, deposit it, and follow through with your finger or waving of the hand motion. Just like magic. Here is an extreme close-up of the two-finger color change. As you can see, only 2 fingers basically accomplish this color change, making it a very visual one. Here it is again, using the back of a playing card to accomplish a color change of the back of the card, and then perhaps the entire deck of cards changes color. To perform the two-fingered card change is very easy because you are using a gimmick card. Take a regular card with a different colored back from your deck, take an X-Acto knife, and you score the card from top to bottom exactly in half. You score so deep, but not deep enough that it makes a mark on the back side of the card. Then that card is placed on top of your deck. When you're ready to perform the two-fingered color change, you pick up the deck, you offset the top card by lifting it up a little bit and swiveling it to the right, but your thumb covers the edge. It looks like this. You pick the deck up, you swivel the top card off just a little bit so that your finger, your second finger, will actually be able to make contact with that top card. That's very important. You pick the deck up, you offset the top card a little bit, you rub the card with your 2 fingers, and as you slide your 2 fingers and your thumb forward, your thumb makes contact at the very center front edge of the pack. That will line up your second finger to make contact with the right edge of the pack in preparation of folding that card lengthwise, just like this. I'll do it real slow. You rub. Your thumb makes contact at the front edge of the pack. Your second finger is now making contact with that edge. You simply come over and fold the card in half. You see the card starting to change color already. and you slide your two fingers back. That exposes more of the color changed card, but the folded card is hidden by your two fingers. You then, when you get halfway back, you twist your right hand and slide back down to the edge of the pack, to the front edge. You rotate the pack all the way around, and the right hand with the folded up card goes underneath the ribbon spread, showing that the pack, the entire deck of cards, has just changed color. Now let's take a look at the two-fingered color change from the back position or the performer's view. Your pre-scored card is on top of the pack, the red deck underneath. When you pick up the deck, you offset the top card, jogging it to the right just a little bit. You rub the back of the card with two fingers. Your thumb makes contact with the front edge center of the pack, which also allows you to make contact with your second right finger on the right edge of the pack. You rub, you make contact. You then fold the card in half lengthwise. You slide your fingers back halfway. You then turn your fingers counterclockwise to expose more of the color changed card. Wrapping your fingers around the front edge of the pack, you twist the cards clockwise, and your right hand with the folded card goes underneath the rest of the deck. To perform the two-fingered card change face up instead of face down, it works exactly the same in mechanics. However, the gimmick card, instead of scoring it on the face, you want to score the card exactly in half on the back side of the card from top to bottom. You perform it exactly the same way. When you pick up the cards, you offset the top card to the right a little bit. You rub the card with your fingers. As you come forward, your thumb positions itself at the front center edge of the pack, allowing your second finger to engage that offset card in order to fold it face down to the left. It would look like this. The color change begins to take place as you rub the deck, and then you turn the pack over to show that the bottom card of the deck has now changed to the 10 of clubs. Once again, the card that is finger palmed can be gotten rid of at your earliest opportunity, perhaps going to your pocket for a magic marker, placing the deck of the card case away, etc. I'm sure you'll come up with your own method, your own favorite way to clean up this effect. We'll have a card selected. It doesn't matter which one. In this case, we use the 2 of spades. Next, I'll take your 2, and I'm going to lose it roughly about halfway down. But remember your card, the 2 of spades. All I have to do now is try to cut the deck roughly about in the center, and hopefully I'll find your 2 of spades. One cut, your card, the 2. Well, that would have been a great trick if that had worked. But I tell you what, I'll use the 10. That's okay. I also use the rest of the cards down here because these cards are the palette of my colors. As a true artist has a color palette. Also, they also have a paintbrush. I always bring my paintbrush along with me. With the paintbrush, you gather up the colors down here. Then you transfer the colors to the 10. And if you do it just right, you can actually paint any card that you like. In this case, your 2 of spades, proving that I am a true artist. To perform this effect, you need a regular deck of playing cards and a paintbrush, which is 3 inches in width, a 3-inch width paintbrush. I found this one at the dollar store, cost me $1. The paintbrush is in your close-up case before the effect or inside your jacket pocket. You have to learn how to perform 2 sleights or 2 moves. First is a control, which I call the eclipse of the pass, and it works like this. A card is selected, doesn't matter which one. In this case, we use the 5 of hearts. Then you swing cut half of the deck into your left hand, and the cards left in the right hand are thumb fanned with one hand, and your little finger engages at the very edge of the fan, so that when you retract your thumb backwards, those cards get squared up a lot easier than if your little finger was not there. You have to be able to thumb fan the deck of cards and close them up rather rapidly. The next thing you have to learn is to hold the left-hand cards in a spider grip position, meaning that your first finger and little finger basically have the cards captured in this grip, allowing your two middle fingers to float freely so that they can press down on the edge of the packet, which causes that packet to flip up just like that. Because what actually happens is, as the thumb fan cards cover, they totally eclipse that left-hand packet. As it covers it, that's when you lever those up and it's covered. That's when you close the thumb fan, but I'll expose this for you. The thumb fan is actually being closed underneath. It revolves underneath the left-hand packet. So it would look as though you closed up the two packets together, and it should look as though the fan cards are simply placed on top of the left-hand packet. So to get the spectator's selected card back into the deck, you swivel cut the cards, you thumb fan, you pick up their card and show it one last time. You then, remember the left-hand cards are in a spider grip position. Replace their card on top of the left-hand packet, turn it over, and as you cover the left-hand cards, that's when you're going to lever these up, remember, and it looks as though you put the two halves back together again, which controls their card to the top of the deck, the 5. Then all you have to do is cut the cards once, pretending to try to cut to their card. It doesn't work, so you set these aside. You take the leftover packet, excuse me, and you spread those on the table. Now you get ready to perform what I call the paintbrush move, which uses a real paintbrush. A rather novelty move, I guess you could say. To do the paintbrush move, you have to learn to put a little bit of pressure on the edges of the packet that you're holding, and that will bow the bottom card away from the rest of the packet. You get 2 or 3 cards that are bowed. So you can engage that card with your first finger and push it backwards, because basically you're going to steal that card as it comes out in back of the paintbrush. And it can be done several different ways. The easiest way is to have the paintbrush in a downward stroke, engage your finger on that one card, and don't panic if you pick up more than one card, because it'll still work. 2 cards will be ejected out the other side. You cover up the bottom half. As you cover up the top half, you start ejecting that card out, and it gets trapped with your thumb in back of the paintbrush. You then come back down on top of the 4, deposit that card from the back of the paintbrush, and paint as if you're painting, and it changes. So it can be done this way. Remember to engage that one card. It can be done this way, very simply, or if you want to add a little bit more motion to it, you can do it in the up position like this, and as you cover the packet to stroke it a few times, that's when you engage your finger. The finger is now engaged, and as I turn everything over, then I push it and steal it out and redeposit it back on top of the deck. It's called the paintbrush move. It's a great color change. It's unique. It's different. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much.